Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this video, how to take off in the Cessna 172 beginner friendly. If you're new to flight simulation and taking off feels rushed, messy, or stressful, this video will fix that. I'm going to show you a simple, calm takeoff in the Cessna 172, step by step, with no jargon and no pressure. This is exactly how a beginner should learn. What a good takeoff really is. A good takeoff is not about speed or realism. It's about control, alignment, and patience. You're not launching the aircraft, you're letting it fly itself off the runway. Every aircraft is designed to fly itself, especially this one. Great beginner aircraft. All right, you need to let the aircraft. You'll feel when the aircraft wants to come off the runway. It'll feel like it wants to come up in the air. You need to wait for that before pulling up on the yoke or joystick. All right, welcome to your 172 Cessna. It's lined up on the runway 28, ready to take off. Before we add any power, there are three things that matter. Number one, trim. Trim helps the aircraft hold its attitude. Attitude. Your trim is located, oh, there we go. Trim is located right here. All right. And when I say attitude, is an attitude means if the nose is pointing up towards the sky and how much by, or pointing down towards the ground. Okay, and how much by. Obviously indicated by this as well as indicated by outside. As you can see here, there's a line which is your horizon, and there's your horizon out there as well. So if you're facing, the nose of the aircraft is facing towards the blue, there'll be more blue. This line will be in the blue. If it's facing towards the ground, simple, it'll be facing into the brown, which is obviously not good unless you want to land. Okay. So if trim is wrong, the takeoff will feel unstable no matter what you do. So if you don't set this up correctly, then your aircraft, you'll be fighting your aircraft basically. So always want to set it up to, as you can see, if you point, the wheel goes up, the aircraft nose points down. If the wheel goes back, the aircraft's nose will start pointing up, even without touching the yoke. It helps you with the pulling and pushing of the yoke, getting your aircraft up and down. All right, we want the aircraft helping us, not fighting us. So obviously we want to make it a lot easier for us to fly the aircraft, and that's easily done by setting it up correctly and letting it fly itself rather than you trying to fight what it's trying to do. Okay. All right, number two, flaps. For a normal takeoff, a small amount of flaps is enough. We're keeping this simple. Okay, so you don't need much flaps. Flaps are located just over here on the Cessna, just down here. So probably put it to the first notch just to give us that extra bit of lift from the wings to help us into the air. Okay. Third, line up straight. If you start crooked, the takeoff is already harder than it needs to be. So obviously, if you don't line up the runway straight ahead with a straight line, then you'll be veering off this way, then having to bring it back, and then have to bring it back again because you overcompensate. Best off set it up to begin with, and you know it's straight, and then we can just worry about getting it into the air. So once you've lined up, settled, and ready, then we go. All right, we're up to the takeoff roll. All right, so we're set up on the runway, ready to go. We'll pull it back a bit so you can see the thrust. All right, so this is here is your accelerator, just like a car, except you handle it with your hands. Because in an aircraft, is your hands. This does not steer the aircraft. Obviously, you have to make sure the pedals, so your feet steer the aircraft. All right. So now we smoothly add power. So we want to push the power in roughly about 3 seconds. So you go 1001, and as you're pushing it in, 1001, 1002, 1003. And within 1003, you want to be fully pushed in. Okay. All right, so no slamming the throttle, smooth and steady. As the aircraft accelerates, keep your eyes outside. Use the rudder, not the yoke, to stay straight. So your rudder is those rudder pedals. Remember, your feet steer the aircraft, not this. This flies you in the air. On the ground, your feet steer you on the ground. So on the ground, you steer with your feet. Okay? All right. Rotation. We're going to talk about biggest beginner mistakes. Most beginners pull back too hard and too early. Instead, wait until the aircraft is ready. Okay, we'll get through that in a second. Do you just want gentle back pressure? All right, so first things first, we have to make sure our trim, see that line down here, see if I can get it a bit closer for you. There it is down here. That's your trim. Controls a little thing on the back wing that helps you. Um, you don't have to pull all the way back. You can pull a little bit because you got it trimmed out. So we set that up for takeoff, so it gives us just that little bit extra lift. So we don't have to fully pull back. We can only just, gently pull back on the yoke to become airborne. All right. All right. So like I said, this is not a pull. It's just gentle pressure pulling back. You are not forced. So just remember, you are not forcing the aircraft into the air. You are allowing it to. Okay, you're allowing the aircraft to get up into the air. Okay, so we'll start that now. We'll show you. Another thing we must make sure is the handbrake. Yes, aircraft do have handbrakes. We'll get rid of this so we can see it. It is right here. Right, so we take that off, otherwise we ain't moving nowhere. I'll put that back so you can see. And back here. I'll see just quickly again, we've got this dial here, just a couple of dials to begin with. Don't worry about these other dials yet, don't need to worry about it. This is your airspeed. All right, this is your attitude, tells you if your nose is pointing up or pointing down towards the ground, and how high we are. At this stage, we are about 7 feet above sea level. All right, so now we're on the ground. You're thinking, oh my God, how can we be above the ground? Well, just remember this always reads off sea level. So this airport is 7 feet above the ocean. So you have to take that into account. So that's how we take that into account. So, all right, and this here, obviously a compass. So we're at runway 28 at this stage. So we're facing 280. That's what the numbers mean. Always put a zero on the end, and that's the degree on the compass that the runway is pointing at. So runway 28 is 280. The opposite to this runway is runway 10, which will be 100, so 100, which is just down here like that. Okay, that's the only dials you need to worry about this stage. We'll explain everything else later. So let's get into the air. Okay, so brakes are off, or handbrake is off. All right, and here we go. So we go 1001, 1002, 1003. Now we're off we go. Make sure you steer on the runway. Use the rudder, sorry, I was trying to adjust volume so I wasn't looking. All right, when we hit about 60, we can slowly pull back. You'll feel it wanting to come up. See how she feels like she wants to fly? Let's pull back a little bit more, and we're in the air. And then now you can use the joke to go left and right, and that flies just like that. All right, so now we're in the air. Easy peasy, wasn't it? All right, I'll just pause here for the moment. All right, so that was pretty easy. So you don't force it, take your time, and go from there. So, all right, after liftoff, once airborne, don't rush, take your time, little corrections here and there. Hold a calm attitude, which means hold a calm, pullback thing. We're doing about 5 degrees, which is the first notch. All right, just calm back, easy as. Fly your aircraft, all right, and let the speed build. So obviously at this stage we've gone from 60, we're close to 80 now, as indicated by here. And just keep your calm hands. Just don't need to fully jerk it left, right, and center. Just easy movements, little tiny movements while you're in the air. Little movements. There you go. Easy movements. If you want to go up higher, we can pull back. Easy movements. See our speed's dropping now, so we just push forward a little bit. Speed's coming back up. Easy, easy, easy. If you want to turn, just a little turn, then bring it back to the center so we start to turn, come back. See, all little movements. I'm not doing this. This makes the aircraft go left, right, and then you have to always, correct. Way too big to get it. So easy movements, easy. It's just little tiny movements. All right, if this feels relaxed, then you've done it correctly. All right, at this stage, it's very relaxed. We're just flying along, having fun, looking at the scenery. We can, airplane's flying straight. She's flying up. Look at the scenery outside. Look back forward. All right, so a few common beginner mistakes. We'll go through that at this stages and easy fixes. So let's fix any common beginner problems. Drift on the runway. Obviously, if you're drifting to one side, the aircraft, especially this aircraft here with the propeller, spinning the air, and it will force us left. Always going to force us left, so you need a little bit of right rudder just to keep us straight on the runway, just a little bit. Jumping into the air. So if you jump in the air really quickly, you're pulling too hard. So you don't need to do that. You just need to pull back softly and just let the aircraft fly itself. All right, so unstable climb, you can always adjust your trim. So we'll explain that a little bit here. So we're flying along. All right, so it's flying along and you want to go up a bit higher. We're starting to nose. So if we pull the trim back, so that's trim down, the nose starts going up. And now I have no pressure on the yoke at all, and it'll just fly up for you. All right, just a little bit here and there when it changes, because obviously the speed will come down. All right, but here we go. And then you want to come to straight and level, push forward, and then you'll trim that out so you can just let go of the yoke, and then you'll fly straight and level, and off you go. Easy. That's what the trim's for, to help you not go up and down. Just trim it out here and there. Obviously, we're going a bit quick now, so we can pull back on the power to about 2300. All right, that's just the air traffic control, easy as. All right, let's trim it up a bit, and then straight and level. It's getting pushed to the sides, little movements, easy as. All right, reassure. So every one of these mistakes is normal, so feel around with it. It's all about little movements, taking your time, and keeping that horizon straight ahead of you. So easy as. We'll just have to answer ACT. Give me a sec. Sorry about that.
Archer Tower, Cessna Victor Hotel,
All
Sierra
right.
Papa Papa. Frequency change.
So, in summary, a good Cessna 172 takeoff is simple. Line up straight, smooth power, gentle rotation, which means pulling back, calm climb, just climb up, climb, keep your speed above 60, in between 60 and 80, climb up in, gentle rotation, yep, calm climb. If you remember that, you're already ahead of most beginners. So just always just take it calm. I'm not actually flying at this stage, that's why we're moving everywhere. All right. So if you remember that all, like I said, you'll be ahead of most beginners. So you're doing great so far, guys. You're doing really good, guys and girls. If you want a simple takeoff and landing checklist, so you don't have to remember everything in this video, I'll put a free beginners list in the description below. It's optional. The video, if the video is enough, it's completely up to you. Not a problem, but it's there for you anyway. All right. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to stop slamming landings. So we're going to be taking off, flying around, and then coming in for the perfect landing. So that should be fun. It's always fun the first time. All right, so I'll show you how to do that in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. Have fun flying out there, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.